On deck, we are so excited to introduce a talented woman in tech. Joining us from Argentina, Camila Manera. Camila Manera is a Chief Data Officer at Libro de Pases, a football tech startup in Series A. Camila Manera has led an impressive career as a creative and data scientist in her 10 years working in the entertainment industry. In 2021, she was named Best of Disney by the Walt Disney Company for AI and Data category. In 2022, she was named Women Tech Makers Ambassador by Google. Camila has also been featured in several well-known industry events, including Data World Congress in Monaco, TEDx event in Barcelona, Spain, and World AI Festival in Cannes, France. Serving as the Chief Data Officer at Libro de Pases, Camila plays a major role in data artificial intelligence and product development. Prior to her current role at the Walt Disney Company, Camila worked as a data scientist manager, helping the data team with the creation of the first data platform for the company worldwide. Joining us today, Camila will share her experience on how to transform a company using AI. Welcome, Camila. The stage is yours.
Hi everyone. Sorry for the delays in jumping in. Thanks, Eric, for the amazing presentation. It's an honor for me being part of this incredible conference. I want to thank all the team for the organization. It's amazing to have the chance to really meet all the industry leaders and talk about the impact and transformation we're going through because of all new technologies and mainly because of artificial intelligence. So I'm going to start briefly with saying about my role. Actually, I work as a chief and product officer, as Eric well mentioned before, and I'm going to start talking about what has happened in the last few years around our society. Has been incredible amounts of change we are living through because of tech, and of course also because of AI. From the way we talk to each other, to how we do business, to what we expect from our institutions. It's been exciting to see such rapid advancement in technology, but it isn't always easy for everybody to adapt. We're gonna, through a massive transformation, as new technologies like AI become widespread in business, of course. So, as companies began to incorporate these new tools into their day-by-day operations, they are forced to reevaluate how they approach their work. And in many cases, this means changing the way they think about value creation altogether. So we don't know what will happen in the near future, tomorrow or next year, but we do not know that in order for us to stay ahead of the curve, we need to keep our minds open and be ready for anything that comes our way. So it's a reality. We have been listening all the different speakers today that AI, it's going to transform all the business around the world. And if it's not already happening in your company or near you, it will start being happening even more in the near future. So the technological revolution, it's here, it's a fact, and it's already transforming the world of how we know it right now. We are humans, we are not machines. We have heard in the last years that the world is changing, that everything is going to be new. So it's logical that sometimes we feel uncomfortable when we think about the future. But if you think about it, we are living in a time when technology is evolving at an exponential rate, no? And started to see all the new opportunities that AI can really bring us in a positive and inspirational way of looking the future. It's going to help us more in this path. So let me ask you a question. You can answer me back later when we go to the QA sessions. But what do you see when you look at your phone? No, it's just a device to send messages like it how it was some month or years before, or maybe something more. When you look at your phone, can that small device help you find, for example, your new profession or your love or your passion? It's so crazy to think about it. I don't know, we can discuss that a little bit later, but the truth is that if we want a better future for ourselves and our companies, we need to think about this kind of stuff. So but we don't have to do it alone. No, we are not alone in this path. There are a lot of companies, people, organizations that can help us with this process by providing us tools, of course, and insights that will allow us to make better decisions in a more decision way. So I know that we are sometimes scared or confused about how the world is evolving with all the new tech, and scared about it, of course. But there is nothing better than preparing ourselves for the future, for this future that we're thinking about. So it was one of my initiatives to jump in and study and work in the AI field, definitely. So that's why I would like to bring this phrase from Benjamin Franklin to the discussion. When we are leaders in a business, a company, a project, a family, or a community, also, we are responsible for preparing ourselves, our teams, and our DRs, of course. We must set goals beforehand or plan ahead, because if not, it is much harder, no, to start thinking about how we can succeed with AI and in our companies, of course, but not impossible. But of course, it can be a little bit more complex in the road. So if our goal is to become successful, most of it comes from determination. Successful companies have short, medium, and long-term goals. For achieving these goals, being prepared, it's a key advantage. Being prepared as we can, know, of course, in order to help our company transform because of the AI impact, it's essential to keep the transformation in mind. No, so also, as I mentioned before, the human side of the transformation we are living through. In order to deploy good technology, we have to work on the culture and be very responsible for that. So once we have settled our short, medium, and long-term vision, there is where we have to start understanding what are our use case. And this can be from creating like new solutions, like developing a new product, changing organizations, working for skilling, or improving the way we work. We can start with very simple and small projects or goals, for example. And also, what I love the most about AI is that we can use it to solve really problems, no? Helping, improving stuff. And every company or business in this world faces different kinds of problem during its life. Besides its stage of maturity, no? This is not something that can affect that. So can I use AI? It's a frequent question different leaders ask for in teams or companies or new projects. But what I would like to ask them is, what problem do you need to solve? Or what do you need to solve? No, what business problem do you have, for example? And it all starts with one simple question. No, what do you need? Because AI can or cannot be the solution. We always assume that we need technology, and most of the time we are right, of course, but it's not always like that. That's why this stage is so important, because we are preventing of falling, no, failing, or do our best, of course. But we need to understand deeply the problem to understand what we have to do and create. I usually tell leaders and teams, no, you can start like making a lot of interviews with principal stakeholders, with final users, with the consumers, if this applies, of course, for your business, because generally the problem is presented to a team from another team who is not the final user of the solution. So in this chain of people, we listen to a lot of assumptions, and that make us work for the team who is presenting the problem, but not for the final user. So who needs this problem, who is the most important piece in this process, what I like to call like the king of the situation. So let me bring you an example. As you could hear, English is not my native language. I am from Buenos Aires, Argentina, and my native language is Spanish. Although I'm being studying for the last 26 years English, I will never be able to make this speech without making some grammar mistakes. I dream about that, but it's a little bit difficult to achieve that. So, if I were giving you this speech in Spanish and you were receiving the live translation with AI, for example, I assume that you perhaps will better understand the concepts that I want to transmit, but you will not be able to feel the passion I have had, and also my emotions. So, when I speak, or we can dream about that perhaps in some years, with AI, we can achieve that. If we think about the metaverse, that sounds more possible. But for now, that it's not a possibility. No, that's the place where technology and we as humans start working together also for that. So also when it comes to checking the spelling and my sentence and how I write and how I speak, I use different type of tools to empower myself and ideas I want to share with you. And this is one of the keys to how we can transform and learn from taking the most advantage from technology. No, and you can ask me why. Mainly because it's the way that we can start finding tools or creating ideas to make our lives and work much simple. When I have to write, for example, texts, since as I mentioned before, English is not my native language, and sometimes I am not like very creative at that moment. I start using different tools that help me. For example, in this case, that this company that has created an AI product, it's a tool that can help me like save 10 times, being 10 times much faster, and it helped me be more productive and of course save time. So what I like these kind of products because it helped me to be more efficient, not just in my work in this case, but also when I have to do personal stuff. These are very clear example and also easy examples to start using AI of how tech can help us be more efficient and save time. No, giving me the chance to focus, to real focus on my main goals. Here my advice is like start simple. Ask yourself where AI really fits. Sometimes we just complex ourselves and think about the transformations goes from adopting this kind of second stack to huge projects that perhaps can take us a lot of years. So that's why I would love to share to you with you a little bit about my experience, my personal experience with AI. And I have the fortune of being part of the process of thinking, of planning, of making implementation of AI projects in companies, for example, that has gone through like more than 100 years of history, and now plan, implements, and also think AI projects for startups that has less than some years. No, so it's amazing to start seeing all the things company, although they have very different scenarios, pass through the same kind of journey. No matter the size of your business and employees, the frameworks most of the times looks the same. And if you really care about making a solid plan, here I want to share with you my learnings. So, first of all, start with education. We can get scared when we think about AI sometimes, and we can think, oh, okay, my business is not tech, or I feel it's so far away, these terms and this kind of stuff. But before taking the assumptions, you don't need tech, data, or AI. Start learning. Start from that. You can educate yourself, educate your communities, your teams to understand really if this fits with you and what you're trying to achieve. Having a change of understanding of things, it's another competitive difference that we can develop and work together. And here, this is one of my favorite parts, and it's a prayer that I want to make to you. If you are leaders here, or you are thinking in a leadership career, also something very important, it's training your team. I am sorry if this sounds quite obvious, but having the right people in your organization, in our organizations, and the company, it's a key element. I know that we are talking about data, that it's a technology, but we humans are the ones in charge of what we create upon technology. So developing a team, giving them tools, and of course a good culture, it's one of the best and most important parts when we want to develop a project with AI. Work on upskilling. All the employees that are in your company understand your business, your culture, and your purpose. So give them the tools to grow and catch the AI tsunami wave. We all know how the works are going to evolve and change in the next years. We need to think about all the people that need the tools to be able to adapt to this kind of change. Dedicate time and listen to them. They are very important for your organization. Listen to the term AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, how our lives are going to change, and all the future stuff we already talk about. This all the conference, perhaps it's quite overwhelmed, and that's a fact, and we all have been there, no, in that moment where we have afraid and we are scared about this. So every time we want to climb a mountain seems impossible, and our brains start to show all the red flags we can see. No, be careful, but this and this and this. But if we start saying, okay, today this is my plan, I want to achieve this, and tomorrow this, and the other week this, the mountain starts to see a very small hill. So sometimes first we need to think with an MVP mentality, because if not, it happens that we never start, we never get started. And that's the main reason why we have to do this. I always mention that my work is like a roller coaster. Some days my head and my things seems to quite impossible to do. I say, okay, I am not going to achieve this. It's impossible. Why I have put this goal in front of me? And other days are quite optimistic. I say, okay, perfect. The sky is the limit. So that's why motivational in this AI era is quite important. Try to make quick wins and develop small tasks that can help you motivate and create value in a short term. But think, of course, always in the final goal. Because sometimes, or most of the time, when we start an AI project, when we start, we want to finish, of course. And some processes take a lot of time. So we can work on that position. Of course, that leadership is a crucial part of this transformation. In terms of the challenges around capturing value, no, in data insights, there is always a risk of separating the data and the business. In other words, that there will be a gap between what is possible from a data science perspective and capabilities versus the development of solutions that fit the business needs, of course. But the transition from insight into insight-based value creation, it's also at risk of not being fully and properly considered. The most critical challenges is the lack of proper anchoring between data analytics competence at a senior leadership level. There's no way around it. Commitment to leadership and direction are required to drive insights-oriented transformations. So of course, that one of the most interesting things about not just AI but technology is that every day we have new progress. It's amazing because we are seeing new solutions came along very frequently, but sometimes what we are doing now, this week, next week, it's going to be old the following month. So that's why learning, listening, and communication with other partners, or what we are doing today at this webinar, it's so important, because if not, we cannot be able to catch the wave. We need to be listening and learning all the time. It's one of the most challenges that we have in this technology era. We can of course predict how the future is going to be. I don't have that power and it's something difficult that we are into, and that it's how no what we are debating right now are in the part of AI. But what we know is that if we understand and we use technology for achieving our goals and in our favor, of course, it's the best solution we can work on. Understanding that the goal here is to become more human than ever, and AI or machines are not here to replace us. And if we become the partners, no, the perfect partners with technology, we're gonna to be unstoppable. But of course, with a lot of different lessons on the road. So transformations are not easy. That's why I wanted to share my main learnings. And also, we discuss later if you have the same or similar experience with developing and transforming your companies with AI. So that's why what also was good for me in this path, it's like having the chance and also develop my skills at being a good listener. When you work in tech and mainly in AI, it's another of the key elements that you're going to have to develop in order to understand, how I mentioned before, the problems and start looking for new solutions. And here I want to bring you one of the things that mainly put in risk some projects that I have been working with AI, and of course the goals. We cannot apply good AI if the teams or the companies that we are working for don't want or can't change. We need to be very careful and guide the different profiles so that when the AI has to launch, we have the team on board. If not, you are going to start a fight that would not help anybody. And it's another reason why some AI projects fail. So that's why I brought you the advice of working on learning and also to work in leadership. The learnings I want to share also today, it's part of the being recognized that of course that we are going to have business problems and perhaps AI is going to be or not the solution for that. So in that cases, when we are going to start with this kind of projects, perhaps we have to open 2 or 3 working tracks besides the project in its full logic. So from one side, you need to start looking to the data and how it's going to be used. And at the same time, you have to see and understand your team structure and culture, how you could help them jump in and see all the amazing opportunities that AI can give them, how they would become better professionals and not seeing AI as a threat, how your team is going to carry this over, is your goals as a leaders, and we cannot force that. It's something that we have to build with them. We have to go by their side and be there as soon as they need us. And final but not least, if we have final users of this project, see how open they are to listen to different points of view. If they are open to listen to new directions, to new advice, because here it's also another big challenge. You can work on an incredible data, AI, ML analysis project, and the final user says, okay, but we have been working for the last 15 years like this. Why we have to trust in this algorithm or insight you are bringing to us? And here's appears another big challenge to solve. No, how we can help them understand the impact and also understand that here it's not data, it's data plus experience. No, how we can make them also great partners in this road. So that's why the culture, no, showing the possibilities and not the problems, it's a good way to start working on transformation through large and small organizations. Of course, that we have been talking, no, that AI impact in every business, it's a fact. But if we can anticipate, no, and start working on the transformation, we're gonna to be much prepared. one of the most clear statements that AI brings is that now everything is possible. Things that not far away, like 4 years, 2 years, 1 year ago, were impossible to dream about, now they are things we use every day. So incorporate all those tools would make us achieve that without like taking into consideration, as I mentioned before, the human side of transformations. AI is really impossible to achieve. To create an excellent business, you need to create the perfect combination between AI and people. That is where you become unstoppable, and your company has no limits, or we can discuss that also later. So incorporate all these tools would help us achieve all these points, and also work on how transformations can affect and also help our companies grow. So in this algorithm age, having a good plan and understanding how to unlock the power of data is what is going to make us more valuable than ever before. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the presentation.
Thank you so much, Camila. That was awesome. Thank you for this amazing presentation. If anyone joined in the middle of the presentation, here is the topic for you. It was, again, how to transform a company with AI. And we just heard some constructive words from Camila about this. Now, I would like to know, Camila, nowadays everyone is talking about AI when anything comes up related to startup or opening new businesses. At the same time, people running a well-established company or organizations without any use of AI are quite intrigued by it. What can be the reason for this, Camila?
Yes, I think that it was like one of the main topics that I also present today, because I think it's very important. But that is transformation, no? For well-established companies, it's very hard to transform. It's quite easy. That's why we are like listening to a lot of new startups and companies, because they have the capability to make very quick change. But when you work with big companies, perhaps changes takes months or years, and we are all very anxious, so it's not very difficult to wait to that to see. So I think that in my vision, upskilling is the key of this element.
Right. Wow. That is great. Actually, enjoying so much your presentation. I also looked at the questions that the audience are actually delivering, and they are very interesting. And instead of me asking you questions that I have that I would like to get an answer, I would like to give the floor to the audience to share their questions. And here we have one. It's really interesting. I'm going to read it to you. It says, as AI democratizes, how important it is that the decision-making authority is democratized to be inclusive at the enterprise level, and what are some of the ways to accomplish it? This has been delivered by Praveen Natarajan. Thank you very much. Camila, what would be the answer for this?
I think that it's something that we are all working on that, and we have heard a lot about how AI brings diversity, how we are start to seeing democratization of information. I think that definitely it's one of the most important parts of what and how we are thinking about transformation and the great impact that it's delivering now. So I think that the way to accomplish is to think, as I mentioned before, in these like short, medium, and term goals, to make a plan, to think really in a very solid base of what is our final goal and solution we want to build, because without doubt it's we're sometimes lost. And of course that not always AI is the solution for anything. We have to also work in the team, in the people, in what we're building for that. And it's not AI it's us as a human, no, why we want to transform, and how we can take the best part of technology to help us improve, and also start to make better decisions through democratize and also diversity.
Wow, I see. Yeah, that is a topic that has been talked about nowadays very much in AI communities and tech communities. Democratization, right? For in any kind of topic. I have another question here, which is a really I think it's really good. It's by Michael Shim Peralta. And it says, in the future, is it possible that AI will create the perfect working environment? If the answer is yes, what implications will this have on the way things are balanced in society?
I love that question because it's something that every time like different people ask me about AI and the future and the work. What I love about AI and the perfect workspace is that AI tools start giving us more time. And for me, and I think that much a lot of people that are here, time it's one of our limit resources and one of the best things that we can have. So if we can start thinking about a 4 day labor week and that stuff, is because thanks to technology we are having more time for ourselves and have the chance to be more focused. So I think that there is the part where I do not know if it's the perfect workspace, but I start to see how the technology can help us to give us like more time to enjoy for ourselves, to make more train ourselves in different disciplines like make upskilling, as I mentioned before. But all that is thanks that now, because of technology, we have the chance to be more focused and also have the chance to save more time for ourselves.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. We have another one from Federico before we go to selecting the winning question. Federico Gonsalves is asking, corporations are betting on building data lakes, but having trouble to actually generate value from all that data. What do you suggest for them? Should they look for a use case before the data?
Yes, I think that is one of the main problems like most of the companies are having right now because, okay, I have a lot of data, I have a lot of information, but if I am not like adding any value and I am not capable of start um, having answers for business question, all that job doesn't get a lot of attention. So I think that there it's okay. You have one like very important part of the process, but you can't forget the other part. The other part is quite the same as important. So the focus there is start to understanding, as I mentioned also around the talk, make interviews with different stakeholders, try to understand what business questions they need to solve in order to go to that data and make the correct analysis. Because if that part is not part of the journey, I think you would have a very hard job with just having the data lake and the information there.
Right. Camila, now it is time for you to look at the questions that we have from the audience. If you could please just scroll, look at them, and decide which one do you think is the question that is most relevant to the topic, or the question that you think is the most interesting. And then there will be a prize for that person.
And so Bethany Panlak, I don't know if I'm saying okay the name, but the question is, what advice could you give other women who are interested to persuade a challenge industry such as AI development? There is my winning question.
Excellent. And what would be this advice that you could give?
Try, learn, uh, be insistent in the process. I am a woman in AI, and really, I have a lot of open doors. It's not but it's not something we have to be scared of. For the contrary, we have a lot of opportunities for women working in technology. I am working with a lot of women leaders around the world in order to inspire them. So jump in, learn, and you will have a place here to work with all the leaders that we have listened today.
Awesome. So Bettina Panlake, thank you very much for that question. There's your advice, and please send us an email so we can send your prize to you. Camila, that was an awesome presentation. Thanks for sharing all this and all your explanations. Now we will take, now we know how we should enter this new world or new era with tech being part of what we do in every day, not only at our jobs, so how we can also move forward with it in our daily life, right? Once again, Camila, thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for your time and your effort. Now, I will just remind the audience to please participate in the networking lounge. Share your experiences, share what your opinions are. We will be discussing there also what is happening around the world. So thank you so much, everyone, and stay tuned. The next session is coming.
Thank you.